AEW Double or Nothing 2023 is taking place on Sunday, May the 28th, which you know what that means. It's time to look at the show right now, AEW Dynamite, Rampage, and everywhere else, and think, what match card are we going to be getting on this show? It's one of the biggest shows of AEW's calendar year. It's one I'm very much looking forward to, and I think we've got a good idea of where some of the matches are going, and I'll be talking about those in the first half of this video, and then the second half of this video, I'll be going into Speculation Station, perhaps giving my own twist, my own opinions, maybe a bit of fantasy booking, and maybe we can put together the rest of that match card. So let's start off then with the four pillars challenging for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. MJF against Jungle Boy Jack Perry, Sammy Guevara, and Darby Allin. There's no secret, this is the match that looks set for this show. It feels like a good time as well to do the match of the four pillars in AEW. AEW now has been going for like 4 years at least now. These were the four that were seen as the future of the company. One has become the world champion. One has been probably arguably where he could be near a world championship opportunity. Two still working their way up the ladder, but in my personal opinion, this is a match that can actually make all four of them stars at the end of it, and all four of them in much stronger positions on the AEW card. So for me personally, I think this is a good placement and a good time to do this match. Obviously, MJF's celebration, the bar mitzvah as well, was fantastic. One of my favourite segments in AEW history. Of course, we had all four of them in the ring at that time. They're saying their piece, saying their argument, why they are the strongest pillar. Of course, MJF has beaten every single one of these guys previously, but all of them kind of have their reason to say why perhaps MJF did that. MJF has also said that, well, all of them had people to help them get to where they are. MJF forgetting that guy Cody Rhodes, just saying it. But still, for me, I think it's going to be a fun match. I think this could potentially steal the show as well. I imagine MJF would retain at this point. I don't see any other standout challenges for MJF at this point as well, with other feuds and programs going on. So I think it's a good placement, a good time, and should be a fun time. I expect MJF to retain. Next on the card then, I've gone for the Blackpool Combat Club going against the Elite, with Hangman Page back in the ranks as well. That's right, we're going to do it for the second year in a row. Anarchy in the arena, because well, the Blackpool Combat Club have turned heel. They have attacked the Elite. The Young Bucks were taken out, of course. Kenny Omega, of course, was attacked. Hangman Adam Page has been attacked. Even Don Callis was attacked backstage as well. For me, Anarchy in the arena just makes a lot of sense. Obviously, it started with the 3 members of the BCC, with Bryan Danielson being away. Danielson has come back as well, and he is now put himself with this group once again. So a 4-on-4 makes a lot of sense. I think this one potentially feels like a main event of this show. If you're not going to have the AEW World title, do that. And for me personally, I think there's going to be lots of shocks, twists, and turns with this one as well. I've just got a funny feeling that Don Callis, you know, he's with this babyface group, the Elite. I still stick with what I feel at the start here. When the Bucks were taken out, when the Blackpool Combat Club were the ones who took them out and then did the attack to Kenny Omega, I wouldn't be surprised if Don Callis turns heel in this match and joins the Blackpool Combat Club to give them the victory, to perhaps move this further over to Blood and Guts, perhaps even with Konosuke Takeshita a part of the group as well, because, well, Callis was after Takeshita at one point, saying he should be on the winning side. I wouldn't be surprised if that came in at a later date, and that means as well, I wouldn't be surprised if, say, someone like a Kota Ibushi was to debut further down the line to be on the side of the Elite. But something to keep an eye out for. We've still got, what, 5 or so weeks until this could even be a possibility, but I think we are going to get this match in some format. I'm adding the stipulation Anarchy in the arena because, well, we did have Stadium Stampede for a couple of years. From my understanding, John Moxley was not a fan of that idea when it was presented last year, hence why we got Anarchy in the arena, and I think we're going to roll that back for a second year in a row this year. The Battle of the Babies for me next now. Adam Cole, baby, taking on Chris Jericho. Now, of course, Adam Cole returned to the ring. First off, amazing to see him back. I'm so happy he's back at 100% and doing what he does best. He's one of my favourites in AEW as well. And to go against Chris Jericho, I think this makes plenty of sense. It's a great feud for Adam Cole and for Chris Jericho at this point in the mid-card. Don't think we've ever seen this before anywhere else, so for me, this is the first time. Feels quite exciting, with, well, Jericho being one of my all-time favourites as well. I like the way they've sort of slowly put this together as well. Adam Cole's first match back, of course, against the JS member Daniel Garcia. You could see where this was going immediately. Cole to pick up the victory. Of course, Jericho came down to ringside, kind of went to look back at Adam Cole, but kind of dismissed him, taking Garcia away. We've seen the same thing this past week when Keith Lee lost to Chris Jericho. Of course, Keith Lee, Adam Cole have great respect from their time in NXT. I won't mention too much about NXT here, but of course, that looks to be the storyline they're working with narrative. They're going to go face-to-face this upcoming week on Dynamite, of course, in just an interview segment. I expect face-to-face at Double or Nothing. Adam Cole versus Chris Jericho in a singles match. And do you know what? I'm really looking forward to it. I expect Adam Cole to pick up the victory, and that'll be the first step to getting Adam Cole towards that main event picture and hopefully eventually a world championship opportunity later this calendar year. I mentioned Keith Lee, and do you know what? We're finally going to get the conclusion to this rivalry against Swerve Strickland, because these two are AEW World Tag Team Champions. I know Keith Lee not had the best health situation recently in AEW. Again, great to see him back and doing what he does best. Swerve Strickland, I think they're trying to make the best what they can with Swerve to give him the big push since. I don't think it's quite connected. He's now sort of joined his group with Brian Cage's group as well. The name does escape me, unfortunately, at this moment of recording, but still, hopefully this will be something that can help Swerve get to the next level. But the fact that he helped Chris Jericho beat Keith Lee makes me think we are going to get this match on this show, and I think, to be brutally honest, both Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland have got all the tools to be big time players in AEW. I'm excited at the prospect of this match. For me, when you look at this, Swerve Strickland has the new group going on, has the momentum behind him. In one way, it makes sense to push him. But of the storyline narrative as well, Swerve was the guy that wanted to go bad in the team. Keith Lee was the one that wanted to remain a good guy in the team. It does feel like one of those stories where the good guy should prevail. Either way, if we're getting this match on Double or Nothing, we win as fans. That's one thing I will say to this stage before giving an actual prediction, because, hey, I need to see the story play out a bit more first. Next, let's talk about Ricky Starks against Jay White. We've got Bullet Club Gold in AEW. If you watched my channel a few weeks ago, when the Bullet Club music first hit and Juice Robinson attacked Ricky Starks, you'd have seen I suggested the idea that maybe this is the tease for what later on would be Jay White in AEW. And that's exactly what has happened. Forget the Raw after WrestleMania. It was the Dynamite after WrestleMania, which saw the hottest free agent come into All Elite Wrestling. Jay White, for me, is going to be a big deal in the company. It's great first program as well. It's even great for Ricky Starks because, Jay White is going to be a top player in AEW. There's no shame in losing the match, and to be fair, a great performance sharing the ring with Jay White is going to keep Ricky Starks on that upper echelon rather than arguably feuding with Juice Robinson. Nothing wrong with Juice, he's good in the ring, he's a good talker as well, but as a presentation factor right now, he's not seen as anywhere near a top guy in AEW. So Ricky to overcome Juice on the road to this show, and then Jay White to pick up the W en route to what I think will become a new main event. And of course with Bullet Club in AEW as well, it's one of those big factions, those big attractions. The t-shirts are going to be on the sale once again. Bullet Club will probably fit into a lot of storyline narrative going forward in AEW TV. It's looking very likely we'll get the TBS Championship match of Jade Cargill versus Taya Valkyrie. It's going to be Jade versus Road to Valhalla. Yes, both have the same finishing move, but with different names. Mark Sterling is back in the picture for Jade Cargill to try and get Taya to stop using that move. Will that be a stipulation that's added to this match? The loser can't use it going forward. That could be quite fun in certain way. Obviously, the TBS Championship will be the main prize, though, up for grabs here. For me, I see Jade Cargill, if this match is put together, to still retain the championship. I don't see her losing her undefeated streak anytime soon. Despite building a program between the Outcasts and as well the AEW Originals, I think we will still get an AEW Women's World Championship match. It doesn't feel right to have a show without it, so I'm expecting Jamie Hayter to defend against Saraya. That's right, one-on-one, Brits versus Brits. I'd be interested to see how it's going to play out as well. For me, if I had to predict at this early stage, I think we still could be leading towards blood and guts with the ladies here. If we add a couple more members to each side, it's certainly possible. You look at the likes of like Athena, for example, could join the Outcast. We've seen Akara Shida was a part of the start of the story that built the Outcast. She could be going on for the Homegrown talent, but certainly many people are part of the Homegrown talent. I've gone for a separate match as well, for say perhaps the buy-in, if you will, with Toni Storm and Ruby Soho going against Riho and as well Willow Nightingale. If they did that, perhaps the Outcast would win that sort of match, that sort of way to give heels the heat. For me here, I can see though with the Women's Championship match, that heel heat also carrying through. Imagine Saraya as the AEW Women's World Championship. Keep one eye of the idea that All In is going to be at Wembley Stadium later this year. Hopefully up to 90,000 fans in Wembley. UK fans screaming loud and proud. You could do the rematch there. Saraya going in as the champion and Jamie Hayter winning that championship back in front of the UK crowd. There's two UK talents, but certainly one will be more favoured than the other. So to give the wanted result of a new champion in Jamie Hayter in Allin makes sense for me. Therefore, it could make sense in the short term and the meantime for Saraya to become the next AEW Women's World Champion, building into that show. Despite them having a championship match this upcoming Wednesday, I expect there'll be shenanigans involved. I think we're going to get Powerhouse Hobbs versus Wardlow one more time at Double or Nothing for the TNT Championship. I think, like I say, something's going to screw up this result on Wednesday, or it's not going to be a clean finish. Therefore, we're going to need a rematch going forward. Powerhouse Hobbs has only just won the championship, so I wouldn't be surprised if he carries it into this show. We'll have to wait and see if he can carry it after Double or Nothing. I'm not so sold, let's say, on the partnership with QT Marshall, what they're doing with that at the moment, but it's still very early days. Let's wait and see how that will develop. We really are going into speculation station now for the last few matches here. For the International Championship, Orange Cassidy, I'm going for Christian Cage to beat the opponent. Christian Cage said he wanted to win a championship before Jungle Boy. Despite losing that program, he says, well, he's backstage with Luchasaurus once again. We've got new plans are coming for him. I think he's still going to aim for a different target to get a championship to prove himself right. Jungle Boy Jack Perry going for the World Championship. Christian Cage to go for the International Championship. And of course, Orange Cassidy is defending that championship all the time, almost weekly at the moment on AEW. Of course, I expect he'll have a spot where he can defend it on this show. I don't believe we've seen Orange Cassidy versus Christian Cage as well. A fresh match, one that could be exciting, one that could present a new international champion. For the Trios Championships, I'm going for the House of Black versus Death Triangle. I know these two sets of trios have rivaled before, but they've done some amazing stuff when they've been in matches together. To do it for the championships on the line now, I think makes a lot of sense. I know the Lucha Bros are Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions at this present stage, but it doesn't mean they can't be brought in for this opportunity at Double or Nothing. For me personally, I think it's win-win for the fans. I would expect if it does happen, House of Black to retain, but hey, it's speculation station after all. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Next, let's talk about the AEW Tag Team Championships. Probably arguably the most difficult call to make because FTR have just taken the championships from the Guns. You could do a rematch between the two teams, but that's to drag this feud out for another 6 weeks. I'm not sure if fans will be fully invested with that. I'd like to see FTR versus the Acclaimed. I think that would be really fun to see these two teams go at it, but it's two babyface teams at this stage. Would FTR turn heel? How would it be presented? Acclaim seem to have their own rivalry of their own at the moment with 2.0, of course, Matt Menard and, of course, Angelo Parker also, which I have said could be a buy-in match as well. Would be an easy win for the Acclaimed if that was to be the case. You could also throw the Hardy Boys into the mix. The Hardys, of course, now reunited. Jeff Hardy back on AEW TV. I imagine a spot would be found for him on this show. You could even do pretty much all of the teams in a match, to be fair. I mean, I suppose if you look at 4 teams there, FTR, the Acclaimed, the Guns and the Hardys, that way you've got a heel team in there. But AEW have been doing a lot of this recently where they just throw loads of random tag teams in there to get them on the show. Maybe that's the way they'll go again here because there's no set direction at this particular moment. But I guess take your pick, take your fancy, and let's see what we get at Double or Nothing. But one thing is for sure, I'm expecting FTR will retain those tag team championships, whoever they end up facing. So that's my predicted match card there for AEW Double or Nothing 2023. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Do you think we'll see most of these matches? Would you change anything around? Let me know what you feel now in the comments below. I suppose another question we should ask is, will CM Punk show up on this show? Probably not. But still, there are rumours he is actually expected to be in AEW again very, very soon. Rumours are suggesting the AEW new show Collision, which I believe is starting very, very soon, could be the future destination for CM Punk on Saturdays. There is actually some shows in June in Chicago, which have been rumoured as potential return moments as well for CM Punk also. So maybe Double or Nothing could be too soon. If so, if he was to come in on this show, where would he come in at? I assume that if Punk is going to come in, he's either going to be kept completely separate from the Elite, or he's going to be head-on collision with the Elite. I can't see it going any other way. But again, another ingredient I'd like you to discuss with me in the comments below right now. I look forward to interacting with you. If you enjoyed the video, then please do like, share, and subscribe. A full predictions video will come when we know the actual card for AEW Double or Nothing, which I'm sure will be in the next few weeks. And of course, I'll be predicting the show probably about 3 or 4 days before it goes live. But anyway, in the meantime, I'm talking, you're listening, and I thank you for doing so. I thank you for being here. Like I say, like, share, and subscribe. Get involved in the comments and check out as well some of the videos on the side of the screen popping up right now. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of the day. You've been watching SCW here on YouTube.